After Alex crashed his Bugatti, he's nominated me to repair it.
Any manufacturers call you for advice?
Yeah, everything that we've had with them has been a nightmare. If Ferrari are not doing it, Lamborghini are not doing it. If Ferrari would do it, Lamborghini are going to do it, and vice versa.
Tesla just made Mat Armstrong an offer. Not a content deal, not a brand partnership. A statement about which side of the automotive war is winning. On one side, Bugatti, who locked the VIN of their own abandoned car and sent the CEO to explain why certain machines are permanently beyond certain people. On the other side, Tesla, who watched tens of millions of views pile up, understood what the audience was responding to, and called the same mechanic to say, "Come inside and show the world what we built." Tonight, Stars of America breaks down what that offer means for the hypercar world and everyone watching from a garage. Why Tesla chose Mat Armstrong. Before we get to Tesla's offer, before we get to the locked VIN and the CEO response videos, and the Leicester garage transmission split that the automotive world is still talking about, you need to understand exactly who Mat Armstrong is. Because the Tesla deal only makes complete sense when you understand what he built before the phone rang. Mat Armstrong was born in Leicester, England, on the 11th of June 1993. His father was a mechanic.
Yeah, I think my dad really enjoys it. He's been a mechanic his whole life and had to deal with customers. He didn't necessarily want to be a mechanic. He was like carpentry, I'm sure.
His parents separated when he was young. He grew up around tools, around engines, around the specific kind of practical intelligence that develops when you learn things by taking them apart and figuring out why, rather than by reading about them in a manual. He became a professional BMX rider, competed internationally across France, Germany, and Dubai, before a shoulder injury at the BMX World Championships ended that chapter of his life without warning. Most people in that situation look for the safest available next step. Mat Armstrong walked into a garage instead. The first project was his girlfriend's wrecked Audi TT. He bought the salvage, documented the rebuild on camera, and posted it on YouTube. What happened next was not just a successful upload. It was the discovery of an audience that had been waiting for exactly this kind of content. Someone who showed the work honestly, who let the camera run when things went wrong as freely as when they went right, who treated the viewer as a genuine participant in the process rather than a passive spectator being shown a polished, finished product. The channel grew because the authenticity was real. There was nothing performed about it. It was a man learning in public and bringing everyone along for the process. By May 2026, Mat Armstrong had built one of the most genuinely significant automotive channels on the internet.
But we are filming some absolutely nuts videos which are going to go out next week on the main channel, and then literally week after week after week is going to be some very special videos dropping in 2026.
6.3 million subscribers, nearly 1 billion total video views, a net worth estimated between $2 and $4 million, built entirely from buying wrecked supercars and hypercars that nobody else was willing to touch and bringing them back from the dead. Not inherited, not the product of investment decisions or family connections, built from salvage auction bids and workshop hours and the specific rare combination of mechanical skill, camera presence, and storytelling ability that his audience recognized as genuine from the very first video he posted. The cars he has rebuilt read like a list that most collectors never approach in a lifetime. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys, Porsches, and Maseratis have all passed through his workshop. The Rolls-Royce Wraith, the one that had belonged to Manchester United footballer Marcus Rashford, and reportedly cost $324,000 to restore, was the kind of project that removed any remaining doubt about the level at which he was operating. His father, Tony, works alongside him on the builds. His partner, Hannah, manages the operational structure of the channel and the business behind it. The whole enterprise runs with the energy and loyalty of a family operation that happens to have nearly 1 billion views behind it, and a global audience that treats every new project as a community event. What makes this context essential for understanding the Tesla deal is what it tells you about what Mat Armstrong's audience actually represents to a manufacturer paying close attention. These are not passive viewers consuming car content the way people scroll through social media. They are an engaged community that has invested genuine emotional stakes in a specific set of values. That mechanical skill matters more than corporate authorization, that passion earns access, regardless of what the factory would prefer, that the most exclusive cars in the world do not belong permanently to the institutions that build them, but to the people who love them enough to understand every component. Tesla understood this completely before they made any approach. Bugatti understood it too. The difference is what each of them decided to do with that understanding. The garage that took on Bugatti. In October 2025, Mat Armstrong received a call that no automotive content creator had ever received before. An American creator known online as FXA Alex G had a problem, a $6 million problem, with a French badge and a horseshoe grille that was no longer recognizable as such. His Bugatti Chiron Per Sport had been in a massive accident.
And today, we've got to connect both of them together. After Alex crashed his Bugatti, he's nominated me to repair it.
Insurance quotes came back at $1.7 million just for repairs. Not replacement cost, not a new vehicle. $1.7 million just to fix the existing one. And here is the detail that reframes the entire story. Only 60 of these specific cars were ever produced in the entire world. One crash and 60 became 59. This was not just a damaged vehicle. It was one of the most significant automotive artifacts on the planet, reduced to something that looked like a very expensive collection of broken components scattered across a floor in Miami. The damage was brutal in its specifics. Carbon fiber shattered across multiple structural panels. The iconic horseshoe grille destroyed. The transmission mangled in ways that told you everything about the force of impact. The front end obliterated. Airbags deployed throughout the cabin. Bugatti flew a technician from France to conduct an official assessment. The verdict was immediate and unambiguous: total loss. They applied a salvage title, sent the car to Copart auction, and by every conventional piece of logic that exists in the automotive world, that should have been the end of the story. Mat Armstrong flew to Miami.
We're in Miami. This is going to be nuts. Now, whether you know Alex, don't know Alex, like Alex, or dislike Alex,
he was not going to watch one of 59 remaining examples of one of the rarest cars ever produced disappear permanently into a salvage yard while he sat in Leicester. He bid at auction. He won. He arranged transport back to England. He was going to bring it back. And then Bugatti did something the automotive world had never seen at this scale before. They locked the VIN. What that means in practice: every Bugatti dealership on Earth, every authorized service point in their global network, every parts supplier connected to their system, simultaneously blocked from selling a single component toward this rebuild. No headlights, no panels, no horseshoe grille, no mechanical parts of any kind. Bugatti had officially declared this car a total loss, sold it at public auction, and after it was legally purchased by someone else, locked it out of their entire infrastructure. The message was not subtle. This machine exists in a category your garage does not qualify for, and we have the tools to enforce that permanently. Then came Mat Rimac himself, the CEO of Bugatti Rimac, one of the most technically respected figures in the hypercar world, posted an Instagram video publicly addressing Mat Armstrong by name. He laid out the structural damage in detail. He confirmed the gearbox housing had shattered. He stated the monocoque had sustained damage requiring specialized assessment. And he made the specific claim that only 2 places in the entire world were capable of splitting this car to access the transmission. One was the Bugatti factory in Molsheim, France. A Leicester workshop was not on the list. Armstrong did not book the freight to France. He sourced airbags from an Audi A3.
the windscreen out and all of the deployed airbags. Everyone who's got an Audi A3, you have a Bugatti in the airbag.
He used CNC machining and three-dimensional scanning to replicate every locked component. And then, in front of millions of viewers watching live, he split the Bugatti transmission in his own garage. The job the CEO said only 2 places in the world could perform. Completed in Leicester with his own tools by a man who taught himself from the ground up. The comment sections afterward were not just celebrating technical skill. They were the sound of an audience watching someone prove, on camera, that the automotive establishment's most fundamental claim, that certain machines are permanently beyond certain people, was never a fact about the world. It was a story those institutions had been telling about themselves. Why Ferrari stayed silent while the Bugatti saga was consuming the automotive content world and generating tens of millions of views across every platform, most people had forgotten about something Mat Armstrong had done earlier that quietly demonstrated exactly how differently manufacturers can choose to respond to what his channel represents, and what those different choices actually produce in the real world. Before the Bugatti, there was a Ferrari F430. Mat rebuilt it not as a commissioned project, not for a paying client, not for commercial profit. He rebuilt it as a gift for his father, Tony, the mechanic who had been his first teacher, his earliest collaborator, the man whose garage had functioned as his classroom before he had a classroom of his own. They rebuilt it together on camera as a father and son project that unfolded across multiple videos and generated a response from viewers that reached well beyond the usual automotive audience. People who had never watched a car rebuild before stayed for the entire series. People who had never given Ferrari a moment of genuine thought suddenly found themselves emotionally connected to a brand they had previously experienced only as an aspirational abstraction. Here is what Ferrari did in response to watching millions of people develop a new and authentic relationship with their brand through a Leicester Mechanics father-son project. Nothing. No VIN locks. No CEO appearing on Instagram to explain what their cars require. No corporate communication insisting that only authorized Ferrari-certified hands are permitted to interact with their products. They watched from a distance, and what they watched was their brand being introduced to an entirely new generation of fans through the most genuine possible route. Real people who genuinely loved the car, doing the work with their own hands, showing every imperfection and breakthrough on camera. The Ferrari brand did not suffer from this. The Ferrari brand gained from it. A generation of viewers who came to women's basketball through Caitlin Clark now had an equivalent in automotive culture. A generation of viewers who came to Ferrari through a YouTube mechanic giving his dad the car he had always dreamed about. That is a form of brand building that no advertising budget can replicate because it cannot be manufactured. It happens organically, or it does not happen at all. Now place that alongside Bugatti's response to the exact same situation and examine what the contrast reveals about institutional philosophy. Bugatti had a creator with 6.3 million engaged subscribers and nearly 1 billion views, demonstrating to the world that their car was remarkable enough that someone would fly to Miami to rescue it from a salvage yard rather than let it disappear. The organic interest in that story was enormous. The goodwill available to Bugatti, if they had chosen to engage differently, was real and significant. Instead, they locked the VIN, dispatched the CEO to make response content, and handed the narrative over to the mechanic they were trying to exclude. Ferrari understood, whether by design or instinct, that the relationship between an exclusive manufacturer and a content creator of Mat Armstrong's specific type is not a threat to be managed, but an opportunity to be embraced. Bugatti understood it as a threat and responded accordingly. The outcomes of those two philosophies are documented in the view counts, the comment sections, and the brand sentiment data that followed. Tesla looked at both of those outcomes before making their approach. They had the benefit of watching the entire story unfold before deciding how to respond to it. And what they decided tells you everything about where the automotive establishment is heading and who is going to be leading when it arrives. Tesla's answer to Bugatti's rejection. Here is where the entire story shifts, because what Tesla put on the table is not a sponsorship arrangement or a conventional content deal. It is a philosophical statement delivered in the form of a business offer. And the philosophy it represents is the exact opposite of everything Bugatti communicated the moment they locked that VIN. Begin with what the Tesla Roadster actually is, because the specifications require a genuine moment to absorb. Elon Musk confirmed during Tesla's first quarter 2026 earnings call on the 22nd of April
Tesla owners will be able to earn money by adding their car to the fleet for autonomous use.
that the Roadster production reveal was imminent. Weeks away, not quarters, not years. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 1.9 seconds on the base model. Sub 1 second with the optional SpaceX cold gas thruster package. 10 compressed air thrusters developed in collaboration with SpaceX engineers using the same composite pressure vessel technology found in Falcon 9 rockets. Top speed exceeding 250 miles per hour. Range of 620 miles on a single charge. Starting price of $200,000 for the base model, $250,000 for the Founders series. The first 1,000 cars. Pre-ordered since 2017 with a $50,000 deposit, representing nearly a decade of anticipation now approaching delivery. Now place those numbers directly alongside what Mat Armstrong spent the previous months fighting through. A Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport at $6 million new, a factory repair quote of $1.7 million just for repairs. Total range of approximately 250 miles. 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, and a manufacturer willing to lock the VIN of their own declared total loss vehicle, a car they had officially abandoned and sold at public auction to prevent one independent mechanic from rebuilding it. The performance comparison favors Tesla at 1/3 of the price. The range comparison is not close. The accessibility comparison, what actually happens when something goes wrong, is categorically different. When a Tesla owner has a problem, there is no CEO making Instagram videos explaining why only 2 places on Earth can fix it. There is no $1.7 million quote from a factory in France. There is an over-the-air software update, a supercharger network, accessible diagnostics, and a dealer infrastructure that exists to solve problems rather than protect exclusivity. According to multiple sources tracking the story, Tesla's approach to Armstrong was not made to issue restrictions or establish what he would be permitted to do. It was an invitation inside the process entirely. The reported offer involves Armstrong receiving access to one of the incoming production Roadsters for a full documentation series. The deep access, technically detailed, emotionally honest content his channel produces better than any automotive creator currently working at comparable scale. The concept is direct. Let the world watch Mat Armstrong do for the Tesla Roadster what he did for the Bugatti. Explore it from the inside. Show every system. Document every layer of what makes it extraordinary. And bring 6.3 million subscribers along for the entire journey. Tesla VP of Vehicle Engineering Lars Moravy said publicly in July 2025 that this car was designed to be the last best driver's car before autonomous driving becomes the norm. That framing matters. It positions the Roadster as a cultural artifact, the final statement of what human-driven performance can be. Pairing that car with the creator who has spent years proving that passion and skill matter more than factory authorization is not accidental. It is the alignment of 2 arguments that have been making the same case from different directions. What Tesla is acquiring cannot be bought through a conventional campaign. Mat Armstrong's 6.3 million subscribers do not follow him for scenic road footage. They follow him because they trust him, because they have watched him take extraordinary machines apart with his own hands and tell them honestly what he found. That credibility is worth more to a car trying to prove itself against a century of combustion tradition than any advertising budget ever could be. What this war actually means, step back from the offer, the specifications, the VIN locks, and the Instagram CEO videos, and look at what this entire story reveals about the shift happening at the foundation of automotive culture, because the implications extend well beyond one YouTube channel and one car deal. For most of the 20th century, the question of what automotive excellence meant had a clear and uncontested answer. The great manufacturers with their racing pedigrees and hand-assembled engines and factory-only service networks set the terms. Their word on what a car was worth, who was qualified to touch it, and who deserved to own one was treated as final. The ecosystem surrounding those brands, The certified dealers, the authorized mechanics, the exclusive parts networks existed to enforce that authority. The brand was the product as much as the car itself. Tesla spent 15 years building a different answer from the outside. Not with rhetoric, with a fundamentally different philosophy about the relationship between a manufacturer and the people who buy what it produces. Over-the-air updates that improve a car after purchase, rather than locking owners out of their own product. Diagnostic systems that owners can access. A supercharger network built as infrastructure rather than a competitive moat. Every one of those decisions reflects the same argument. The car belongs to the person who owns it. Mat Armstrong spent years building the same argument from the garage floor. His entire channel is the practical demonstration that mechanical passion and genuine skill should count for more than a factory authorization code. Every salvage rebuild, every wrecked Lamborghini and crashed Ferrari and abandoned Bugatti is proof that the machines do not belong permanently to the institutions that build them. Those two arguments are now formally converging, and the honest complications deserve naming. The Tesla Roadster has been announced since 2017. It was promised for 2020, then 2022, then 2023, then 2025. Deliveries are now expected in 2027 or 2028. The SpaceX thruster package has not been confirmed for production consumer models. Lars Moravy acknowledged publicly that integrating rocket thruster technology into a road car is one of the hardest engineering problems in the program. The car itself is built around software architecture that goes well beyond what a CNC machine and three-dimensional scanner can address. Mat will need Tesla's engineers, Tesla's diagnostic access, and Tesla's genuine collaboration throughout. The deal suggests all of that is in place. The execution over the next 2 years will tell the full story. But none of those complications change what the offer itself represents at its core. Bugatti's response to a man buying their abandoned car was to lock the VIN, make corporate response content, and remind the world that certain machines are designed to remain beyond certain people. Tesla's response to the same man was a phone call that said, "Come inside, take this apart, show the world what we built." That contrast is the entire story. One brand protects its exclusivity through restriction. The other builds credibility through openness. One locked the door. The other handed over the keys. The automotive world that comes out the other side of this moment will not look the same as the one that went in. Mat Armstrong flew to Miami for a wrecked Bugatti that a factory in France had given up on. He sourced airbags from an Audi A3. He used CNC machines and three-dimensional scanners to replicate parts no dealership would sell him. He split a transmission that the CEO said only 2 places in the world could touch. He did all of it in Leicester on camera for nearly 1 billion views. And Tesla watched every second of it, counted the views, understood the audience, and made the call that Bugatti never would. One brand locked the door. The other handed over the keys. Like this right now. Comment: is Mat Armstrong the right person for the Roadster? Subscribe, the reveal is coming.